Well, hello, everybody. Um, Been about a month since I've uploaded. Sorry to my number one fans out there. There's literally possibly tens of you. If you wonder why I'm so sweaty, I just watched some Olympic pole vaulting, so my glasses are a little bit steamy today. So it is summer. My little tyrant children are at day camp. My youngest baby, he is at daycare. So I get one Monday a month to, actually one Monday a week to do whatever I want. So here I am entertaining you on camera, except I'm not getting an OnlyFans check for it, which, stay tuned. So yes, my kids are at day camp, but they wanted to go to summer camp this year. I wasn't able to do that because I wasn't being a very good parent, and I wasn't able to get them sent away on time. So there's that. Now, I don't even remember if I've done an episode on this before. It may have been before the great purge of 2023 when I deleted my podcast and basically had to restart it. The great reset, as we will. Except Alex Jones isn't panicking about the Democrats. Boy, my face is, I had too much spice. That's why my face is all red. Speaking of which, I started putting curry in my rice, and I tell you, I think that might be what's, the stereotypes might be true. Curry makes my sweat glands smell awful. Yeah, curry makes you stanky. So basically, I'm going to talk about this episode. I'm going to talk about the summer that I was a camp counselor. I'm not going to name the name of the camp, so we're going to call it Camp Penile, if that's appropriate. I went there all the time when I was a kid. It is a Bible camp, so basically that means you get it's all the same things that you get to do at a normal summer camp, except when you're a teenager, you get lectured about not wanting to go near the opposite sex. So, of course, when I was 13, I didn't care about girls. I cared about going home to play Warcraft 2 on my computer, so that didn't really affect me. I went there all the time when I was a kid. I wet the bed almost every single night and didn't tell anybody. So Evan, Tom, if you smelled something rank when I was a young one, that was me. I completely toasted my bunk beds when I was little. Went there a few times when I was a kid. It was great. You get to go swimming, all that good stuff. Now, when I was and again, I might be duplicating my podcast episode from something that I've done before. I got too lazy to go back and look through each episode to see if I haven't discussed this before. So if it's a duplicate episode, I apologize. That just means you have to suffer through it. Just like, just gotta suffer through it. So when I was 16 years old, I started working at summer camp. Basically, the interview process, I've talked about the interview process at Walmart. But working at a summer camp is just as involved. Of course, you're 16. You have to do all the usual criminal record checks and vulnerable sectors to make sure you're not a kitty diddler, which that's always a good thing to do, not be kitty diddlers when you're working at a summer camp. You think you wouldn't have to say it, but apparently you do. I had to go through all that, and then I had to go through a interview process in the basement of a church. And they brought me in there, and I was interviewed by the board of directors, and they asked me some religious-based questions, like, how would you prepare a Sunday school lesson or something like that? And I went by the skin of my teeth. I'm like, well, you open up the Bible and you start talking. So I'm like Joel Osteen over here. So I did that interview. There's one question during the interview where they're like, if you have a piece of string, how are you gonna entertain your kids? I'm like, I don't know. Do like the little cradle thing where you like make a bunch of stupid shapes with your string or something like that. I don't know. Like, I'm not gonna say I'm gonna choke a kid or something like that. Like, I don't know what else to do with a string of twine besides make shapes or tug on something. But like I said, they don't want kitty diddlers, so you can't tug on anything when you're working there. So I was what you would call a junior cabin leader for that summer, the summer of '06. It was a great year to be alive. Talladega Nights came out that year. Obama wasn't president. It was just we were still in prime Bush years, which for both presidential and puberty for me, I guess. Yeah, it was an interesting time. So I was a junior cabin leader. It's confession time. I was 16, and there was one week during teen week when like the kids were the same age as me, so it was a little awkward. Like there's one guy that was older than me, and he was a summer camper, and he had to do what I said. And I actually now go to the gym with him. He's all tattooed up and looks like he wants to stab me in the throat. So yeah, it's good stuff. I remember there was one kid that was particularly annoying. He would come into camp and he would walk around with a strategy guide for a video game for some reason the entire week. He was really annoying. He kept like trying to accidentally touch the girl worker's boobs. Like, oh no, I'm running wild and I'm gonna try to catch a ball, but oops, I'm gonna accidentally graze your boob. So one night when he was sleeping, I took hair gel and I wiped it over his eyes so that when he woke up, he couldn't open his eyes. So, yeah, it was a pretty good time. The rest of the summer, pretty uneventful. There was one day, mind you, this was no accidents ever actually happened that week, or that at that summer camp. But one day when I was there, a kid jumped off a floating raft, and the raft had a ladder, like a metal ladder, bolted onto it. And he slipped, and his leg got caught between the raft and the ladder, and he fell over, and he snapped his leg, broke both his tibia and his fibia, and the bone was pointed out. So, me and my buddy had to go get him off of the raft in the canoe, because the lifeguard was absolutely useless. She was just sitting there braiding necklaces. So yeah, hey Maria, you were a bad lifeguard. She bad though. Anyways, yeah, so we had to go rescue some kid before he died. And basically we did that, and I got lectured because I didn't put a life jacket on before I got on the boat. Whatever. So yeah, we brought him over onto the grass, and he was panicking in panic mode, and he was like, "Oh, my leg's broken, his bone is pointing out," and the lifeguard tried to say, "Oh no, sweetie, it's just dislocated." I'm like, "Yeah, Maria, his bone is sticking out." So, yeah, there was another kid who was. He was the most annoying little kid that summer there. He had a severe paranoia about leeches, and buddy, there's more leeches in that lake than there is in the welfare system. I was like, there's never going to be any leeches that you have to be afraid of. Oh, I was wrong. He actually ended up stepping in a leech's nest, so I had to keep him panicked, or keep him from being panicked, and I had to pick off probably about 100 baby leeches and 2 big black, like 4-inch long leeches. Now, if anyone says 4 inches isn't big, it's not true. It's a respectable size. So yeah, they were just and he was just sitting there panicking and panicking. So I'm like, okay, we gotta shut this kid up. So I sprayed, picked them all off, and then I got someone to go up and get me table salt, and I just peppered his leg with salt. I assaulted him. Yeah, that was that. There was a few guys at. There was one kid. His name was Daniel. He put on a fake British accent the entire summer, so he was Madonna in it. He put on a fake British accent the entire summer, for some reason. I don't know why, but that's what he did. He pretended to be British the entire time. And my other buddy, my buddy Nick, he worked there. He was, if you don't know what Nick looks like, if you don't know who he is, best way to describe him is he absolutely looks like the kind of guy who's been in at least 3 different gross three-ways before. He's just, he's a cool guy, but you kind of get that energy from him that he's been in at least one gross three-way. He had a crush on all of the girls. He was like that one annoying kid in youth group that I always try to impress the church honeys. And I remember one day we went on a canoe trip, and he was like, "Oh, Cedric, let's go in that creek there." And he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna pick flowers for the girls." I'm like, "Oh, you dick." So they weren't even pretty flowers. They were just like the little white flowers that would come off a lily pad. And the little douchebag, he picked flowers for every girl. He didn't give any to any of the fat girls. So I'm like, "Oh, buddy, it's don't do that." Yeah, and I remember one time there was a cook in the kitchen. He was not a very good cook. He basically got demoted after the first day because he didn't cook any of the chicken all the way through. And I remember one time it was pizza day. Basically, it was bagel pizza day. And his job was to chop up the pepperoni. But it was pepperoni with plastic on it. So they got like 5 or 6 of us to go in there and peel the cheese off of all these mini pizzas and take the plastic off of every single piece of pepperoni because he was so incompetent. I don't really have a whole lot to say about that. Anything else to say about camp? But yeah, it was a good summer. I know I kind of been neglecting the podcast, but sun's out. Tried to get some exercise. Now, what I'll do for the next episode, for the 2 to 3 people that are listening, if you leave a comment on what you want the next episode to be, I will go ahead and I will do it. Just nothing sexual. Nothing like that. Nothing that'll bite me in the butt and get me fired. So there you go. See ya.